When we disembarked from the Coral Princess in Fort Lauderdale Sunday, we did something that we had never done before, and I want to tell you all about it, how it works, and just have you think about it and keep it in your back pocket in case it will come in handy for you someday when you're traveling. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click on that subscribe button. And if you appreciate my updates, please give this video a thumbs up. Thanks so much. Let's start at the top with disembarking the Coral Princess. So Sunday morning, we disembarked from the Coral Princess after our full transit of the Panama Canal. We were there in Fort Lauderdale. We were at Terminal 21. So we stayed in our room until it was 8 a.m. You had to be out of your cabin by 8 a.m. So just before 8, we left and made our way down to disembark from the ship. So when you go to disembark, you get those little luggage tags that let you know what time, and that just put us in perfectly with the numbers that were on our luggage tags. So we disembarked, go out of the cruise terminal there right into where all of the luggage is, and got a porter right off. Porters are amazing to help you collect your luggage, get through the line faster when you go through. For example, there in Fort Lauderdale, they've got the facial recognition for the border patrol there with your passport control. You don't even have to get out your passport. You just stop at the machine there. They've got an agent there, and they are able to recognize you. And hence facial recognition, you carry on right through. The porters are also very good at getting you a really good waiting spot, whether you're waiting for an Uber or if they're getting you over to where the shuttles are. They take you right there. They manage your luggage for you. We always give them a really good tip for doing this. If you're going to take a taxi, they get you down to the taxi stand, and usually unless there's a really long line, they will wait with you and help get your luggage into the taxi. So porters are always a really good idea. But like I said, do make sure you tip them because that's an important part of their earnings. So we did that and everything went very smoothly. We decided that we were doing an Uber. And if you are not aware, when you sail in and out of Fort Lauderdale, you have access to two great airports. So Fort Lauderdale Airport and Miami Airport. Miami is close enough that it is really easy if the flights are more convenient, better times, better airlines, better prices to go. You can go out of Miami very easily. The cruise lines run transfers to both airports, and you can also get an Uber or a taxi to either airport as well. So we had that Uber, and here is where everything changed from how we had done things before. Let me tell you, before I tell you what we did, that I know that you can always take a disembarkation excursion. In a lot of cities, most cities, I would say, the cruise lines will run an excursion for guests who want to do a little bit of sightseeing and their flight doesn't leave until later. Always in the description, it lets you know, like not for flights that leave before 3 p.m. or whatever the cutoff is. And so that is always an option. We've done those in Fort Lauderdale before. I didn't need to do another one in Fort Lauderdale, but our flight did not leave until like 6:40 p.m. So we had a really long waiting time. If you go to the airport and you want to check in your luggage, we would have been to the airport by 9:30 in the morning, and they're not going to let you check in your luggage. I'll tell you the exception to that in just a minute. They're not going to let you check in your luggage that early for a flight that leaves at 6:40 in the evening. So that leaves you with very limited seating. Most people end up sitting on the floor in the airport there, just outside of where you can check in for your flights. A lot of people end up sitting on the floor with their luggage waiting until the time that they can check in. So to me, we've done that lots of times, but this time I decided that we should try something different. So I don't know if you have ever heard of Dayuse. Dayuse.com is a website where you can go to. You can also book them directly with hotels, but you go there and you can book a hotel for just day use for a short period of time during the day. You pay not as much as you would pay if you were booking your hotel overnight. So let me tell you how ours worked. So we got our Uber and we decided to stay at the Hampton Inn Miami Airport East. I've stayed there before when I've sailed out of Miami before, and it's a great hotel. It's really close to the airport there. And so we took the Uber to that hotel. Now, we had booked our room in advance with Dayuse.com. Just so you know, on the Hilton website, it showed it was sold out for that Hampton Inn to have any more Dayuse appointments, but they were still available on the Dayuse website. On the Dayuse website, they will let you choose, and it depends on the hotel and what they offer, but there are little time slots that you select for what time you want to be at the hotel. So we chose from 10 to 3, and we ended up getting there at about 9:30. The drive down, we had a lot of traffic, and we ended up taking about 40 minutes to get from the cruise terminal in Fort Lauderdale down to that hotel there, the Hampton Inn, that's right by the Miami airport. Sometimes that drive is much faster. It really does depend on construction and traffic. So thought I would let you know that time frame, and it was $54 as a point of reference, how much that costs for 2 people, of course, and all of our luggage. So when we arrived at the hotel, we checked in, told them we knew we were half an hour early. They said no big deal. They checked us right in. And when you do these Dayuse hotels, make sure that you pay attention to what is included at the hotel that you're booking at. So at the Hampton Inn, it included breakfast. The breakfast went until 10 o'clock. It included the Wi-Fi. We could use the pool. Of course, we had a room just like a regular hotel room. They just assigned us a normal hotel room. And so off we went. We put our things down, went and had a little bit of breakfast because we hadn't eaten before we got off the ship. Then we went back to the room, and the lovely thing about it is it gives you a really nice place to be. So you can have a nap, you can do your work, you can just relax, you can go swimming, whatever it is that you want to do. So by the time we were leaving at 3 o'clock, we were refreshed. We hadn't had to sit on the floor of the airport there because there's, not a lot of seating outside of the check-in area there at the airport, and we had gotten a lot done. It turned out like a really good thing for us. So like I said, ours was $119. Very much worth it. If we looked at how much we would have paid for excursions, that was much less than we would have paid for an excursion. And like I said, it saved us a lot of time just waiting at the airport there with our luggage. And so kind of keep that in your back pocket. We looked up, and by LAX, there are 12 hotels that came up just like that. So if you're at LAX and you're going to have a really long time until your flight goes, that's a really good option. I want to add that Hampton Inn that we stayed at by the Miami airport, they have a free airport shuttle. It goes every half hour. So at 3 o'clock, a little before 3, we checked out. At 3 o'clock, we caught that free shuttle right over. Took us right to the Delta check-in area there. So it went very, very smoothly. And at the Miami airport, they still have curbside check-in, or it's back again after COVID. So that's really great. At our airport in Salt Lake, they don't have curbside check-in, and a lot of the other airports don't as well. So I thought that was very nice. So that was just a note if you go out of Miami there. And so it went really smoothly. We were able to check in. We went and waited in the Miami airport. So here's a few things to keep in mind. Near Seattle, there are about 3 to 5 that came up. I say 3 to 5. 3 came up that were close to the Seattle airport. A couple more were a little bit further away. But here is a really big tip for you at the Seattle airport SeaTac there. If you go on a cruise and you are flying with Alaska Air or with Delta, you can check in early if you take the Princess Transfer and you come back. And I'm sure it applies to the other cruise lines as well, I'm sure. But when we have 2 times now, when you take that shuttle back to the airport on Disembarkation Day, right there where they disembark you from the shuttles and you collect your luggage, they have check-in for Delta and for Alaska Airlines. It doesn't matter if your flight is quite a bit later. So if you even wanted to, you could check in your luggage, go upstairs, catch a taxi, and go wherever it is that you want to go sightseeing for the day and come back. When we have checked our luggage, we just hung out at the airport so that we could get our work done. Nothing else. We've been to Seattle lots of times, so we didn't feel like we needed to sightsee. But that's a tip for you. Works really well. We have stored our luggage, paid to store our luggage at the Seattle airport before back on our first or second time to Seattle so that we could go sightseeing for that day. But just keep that in mind. That is really handy. So you're not trying to drag your luggage around with you all day long. It's a really good way to check in there. So you might want to keep that in mind. In London, between terminals 2 and 3, there's a Sofitel. It's actually a short-term use hotel, so you can't be there longer than 12 hours. But if you have a really long layover, or if you get, and you just want to be able to rest, actually sleep, that's a really good option. Or if your flight lands, in the middle of the night, and you're not going to be catching the transfer or moving to your hotel, whatever the reason is, that's a good thing to have in your back pocket as well, that they have that. The Sofitel, like I said, is a short stay there, and then there are lots of other hotels right there at Heathrow that would be handy. Barcelona has some, Rome has some, right, and even in the metro area. So these day use hotels are not only just by airports or cruise terminals, things like this, they're all over the place. So just keep that in mind if you find yourself in a situation that you're traveling and it would be nice to put your stuff for a little while. That might be a good option as well. The last thing I want everybody to remember when you're flying, whether you're getting into your hotel, this doesn't even require the day use. But remember that when, for example, your flight lands early somewhere and check-in is not until 3 o'clock in your hotel, you can take your luggage early, drop it off, they'll put it in a secure room, they'll give you a little ticket for it, and then you can go on your merry way and go sightseeing, and then check in later when they've got your room ready. So keep that in mind. But I thought this Dayuse.com might be a game changer and help you out sometimes when you need a room. So let us know in the comments if you have done a day use at a hotel before, the situation that you used it, were you on a cruise, were you getting back from a cruise, and just let us know. You know what, you can even take a red eye before your cruise, which is a little bit risky, if it gets canceled, how are you going to get to the cruise in time? But say your flight lands at 5 o'clock in the morning and you don't have to be on the ship, all aboard is like 2 o'clock. Maybe you could arrange to go to a hotel for a few hours and get some rest. Just putting that out there. Let me know what you all think about this. Let me know what your questions are, and I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.